Okay, let me get something out of the way here right at the start. The statement OnlyFans is destroying society is not a brave thing to say. It's not even an unexpected thing to say. I'm pretty sure deep down, any reasonable person already understands that a platform like this gaining widespread adoption is universally a bad thing. But after a recent development came across my feed, namely a lawsuit against OnlyFans, I want to try and provide a data driven argument for why OnlyFans as a platform is quite literally destroying the fabric of modern society across multiple separate social dimensions. I'll start with this background. OnlyFans, a subscription membership platform that almost exclusively caters to adult content, was officially created in 2016 as a subsidiary of Phoenix International Limited. Now, at first, the platform was relatively unknown. From 2016 to 2019, the website amassed a mere 300,000 creators, and by creators, I mean mostly women posting explicit content for money. However, in 2020, possibly as a result of the COVID-19 pandemic, OnlyFans began witnessing unprecedented user growth to the tune of millions. In just 1 year, the platform gained something like 1.3 million new creators, and from 2020 through 2023, which is the latest year that we have official figures from, the platform would go on to amass over 4.1 million users. I should be clear, when I say 4.1 million users, I mean creators. When we talk about subscribers to the platform, the number is more like 350 million. But for right now, I want to focus on the creator side of things. 4.1 million different creators, and that's 2023. If you continue the previous growth rate here in 2025, that number is more like 5 to 6 million creators or thereabouts. But focusing on the figures that we actually have, which is understating the problem by a pretty hefty margin, to be crystal clear on that, of those 4.1 million, according to GitNux, 84% were female with an average age of 29 years old. Here's the thing. This is where we have to do a little bit of guesswork, or maybe estimation is a better word for it, but I'll show the logic every single step of the way, and the results kind of speak for themselves. The overwhelming majority of revenue from OnlyFans goes to the United States. I'm talking over 2/3 of all revenue that the platform ever processes coming from or going to the United States. And if we extrapolate that to the broader creator market, we can estimate roughly 2.7 million total creators in the US. Well, knowing that 84% of OnlyFans creators, roughly speaking, are female, that would mean about 2.2 million creators averaging 29 years of age who are not just using, but selling services on OnlyFans. Pretty high number, but let me just put this in perspective. Remember, these are old figures that we're using. The numbers have more than likely increased in the time since 2023, substantially. But if you then compare that figure to the US labor market, it becomes honestly terrifying. According to the US Department of Labor, specifically the Women's Bureau, the most common professions occupied by women in America from 1 to 5 are registered nurse, elementary and middle school teacher, managers, customer service representative, and secretary. By far the largest number is registered nurses, with roughly 2.2 million, which would make OnlyFans a comparable number now to the most common female career in the entire United States. That's already horrifying on its face, especially when you think about the fact that over the span of just 3 years, according to the stats that we currently have, an explicit adult platform managed to amass a creator market that would make it rival the most common career in the country for young women. But it gets exponentially worse, because according to the American Association of Colleges of Nurses, the median age of a registered nurse is 46 years old. Remember, OnlyFans creators average 29 years of age, and most analytic pages don't even estimate or track the number of creators who are in excess of 40 years old because it's so low. These figures hold true across other careers as well, with 60% of teachers, for example, averaging 40 plus years old. And this means that the US Department of Labor figures don't actually match. Instead of 1.7 million female elementary and middle school teachers in a comparable age bracket, the number is more like 700,000. Call it a million if you want to, round up substantially. Doesn't change the fact that you are 2 times more likely to meet someone who does OnlyFans than you are to meet a teacher. Selling sexual content of yourself online, if it were an actual career path in the United States, which it's not, because of the extreme income stratification on OnlyFans and a variety of other revenue statistics, which is a separate problem that I'll talk about in just a minute here, don't worry. If it were an actual career, instead of a hollow, deceptive, and manipulative money-making, quote, opportunity, unquote, which more than likely yields pennies in return, if it were, it would be the most common career by far already in the entire United States for young women, and it's not even close. Time for a disclaimer, okay? A big disclaimer. I am not trying to shame anyone. empowerment, freedom, yada yada. Don't stress. I understand. But the idea of OnlyFans as some sort of incredible financial vehicle is a verifiable myth. It turns out that as the number of total creators rises, as the revenue for the platform goes parabolic, the actual average amount of earnings for creators using the platform is going down. Matthew Ball has a really good analytical piece about a lot of these different financials and figures. He runs an investment and strategic advisory service. I've referenced his data before, actually, in other videos, so you'll see graphics with his watermark here, and I'll link his website down below. But the point is, while the total number of creators has roughly doubled from 2 million to 4 million across 2021, 2022, and 2023, right? Just a couple of years, the average amount that those creators make dropped by about 30%. The amount of money that an average OnlyFans creator will earn is less than $2,000 annually, but those earnings come with every single integrated downside along with them. The fact of the matter is, selling yourself on OnlyFans can have negative implications for relationships. You can argue that it shouldn't carry those risks, and I wouldn't fault anyone for doing so, but the reality is it does. Selling yourself on OnlyFans carries downside risk for existing and future children, relationships, career prospects, and most of all, privacy. Of course, it's not unique in that way. Plenty of other careers and money-making opportunities do as well. But there's an atmosphere circulating that OnlyFans is somehow cheating the system with enormous financial upside potential. Here's an example story right here about a number of teachers losing their jobs because the school discovered their OnlyFans pages. And if the platform really offered what people think it does, millions of dollars in total personal freedom, the risk would be possibly understandable. However, it doesn't. Odds are anyone using it will make less than $200 a month, while risking a multitude of social pitfalls as a direct result of it. Of course, there are cases of creators making millions. Established influencers, celebrities, and other famous personalities are the most common examples. But even on the OnlyFans website, it states directly that just 3,000 creators have earned over $1 million total. The real possibility of that success is obviously how the perception continues, but the creators earning these kinds of figures aren't everyday people. They're famous beforehand. Their entire career before using the platform was in the public eye, and the result is that they're able to monetize in a way that a random 19-year-old girl fresh out of high school is not capable of doing. Hammering this point home with the actual data, the top 10% of accounts on OnlyFans collect 73% of all the revenue, which leaves the bottom 90% of creators, 9 out of every 10 people using the platform, expecting to get financial freedom, to fight over just 27% of the funds. And those figures are getting substantially worse every single passing day. Hopefully everyone can see why this is a bad thing, but let me switch gears now and talk about subscribers to the platform. Recently, as in March of 2025, a lawsuit has been filed against OnlyFans by 2 men, alleging that while talking to women who they were subscribed to on the platform, they weren't actually talking to those women, they were talking to an agency. Now, a lot of people may have no sympathy for these men. They should have known, who cares, what does it matter, etc., etc. But bear with me, because that's actually a cornerstone of the OnlyFans marketing technique. Authentic relationships or personal experience. That's the type of language that they use. But reality is a very different creature. See, rather than talking to a popular creator on the platform, subscribers are far more likely to be talking to someone at a specialized agency, such as ofagency.co. There's many of them, this is just one example. According to Amir Kamal, who founded the company, creators can make upwards of 50 or 60% of their entire revenue stream from these direct messages. But instead of actually doing it themselves, no, they hire someone, some guy across the world. This is subjectively kind of funny. People subscribe to a model, they think that they're talking to her directly, and instead it's some random guy in Pakistan. But if you start connecting some of the dots, it gets a whole lot more sinister very quickly. It's actually not just human operators and third-party agencies. No, it's also AI chatbots. There's a bunch of them, each with their own unique spin or differing levels of automation in tow. But I want to read a segment from Vice News, an article in 2024, which outlines the problem very well. Quote, "Many creators are enthusiastic about these AI tools. Eden, a former OnlyFans creator who now runs a talent agency, is an avid user of Super Creators AI, claiming that it has significantly boosted sales by helping creators target their most lucrative fans. The AI's ability to scan for inactive users and automatically initiate conversations has led to impressive results, such as a $1,000 tip sparked by an AI-generated message. However, Eden emphasizes that creators should still personalize the interaction using AI-generated content as a starting point rather than fully automating the process. End quote. That's already a little bit strange, targeting their most lucrative fans, language and rhetoric like that. But we also have to remember that none of this is happening in a vacuum. It may seem unrelated, although it's definitely not, but something that vocal AI critics have been warning about, myself included, even something that fans of AI have acknowledged openly as well, is that long before general artificial intelligence is ever achieved, something called superhuman persuasion will become possible. In simple terms, even if a large language model isn't actually sentient at all, it will still be able to persuade people, especially vulnerable or lonely people, which is the precise demographic that we're talking about here, to think and act in a certain way as a result of its programming, beyond the capability of an average person. That may sound like some sort of dystopian sci-fi novel, but it's a lot closer than people may think, and the applications for that kind of persuasion are almost infinite. Everything from what we're talking about today, OnlyFans, all the way to politics. Well, knowing that OnlyFans and top OnlyFans creators are now using AI chatbots actively to target their most lucrative fans, with substantial results given as anecdotal examples in the Vice article, let's look at the actual revenue figures. From 2021 to 2023, the same years in which the average amount that OnlyFans creators were making dramatically decreased, by the way, while the total number of creators on the platform doubled. From 2021 to 2023, the source of revenue for OnlyFans also changed. Recurrent subscription revenue remained pretty much exactly the same. It actually went down as a percentage of overall revenue in that time frame, but one-off payments substantially increased. To be clear, one-off payments means something like a $1,000 tip, by the way, from a lucrative fan that was identified and targeted by a chatbot. Sound familiar? Basically, this just means that the type of revenue that is elicited from using chatbots and third-party agencies and people using direct messages is the type of revenue that's increasing, whereas subscription revenue isn't increasing. So one of them is dramatically going up and the other one is remaining stagnant, which means it's coming from somewhere. Let's do a bird's eye view. The number of creators using OnlyFans is going up, right? Substantially and constantly. Meanwhile, the amount of money that 90+% of them actually make is going down dramatically and consistently. At the same time, the creators who are making money are utilizing heavily third-party agencies and AI chat tools to identify and target their lucrative fans, extracting increasingly larger sums of money through fake personal interactions, meaning that more and more men are paying more and more money under the persuasion of AI tools and third-party agencies, while they think they're talking to a tiny subset of attractive women, when in fact they're not doing so, resulting in measurable harm at every single stage of the process for everyone. Creators signing up for the platform are harmed because the impression of limitless financial freedom is a verifiable lie. Meanwhile, they onboard all of the potential risks with rapidly decreasing financial prospects in tandem. Subscribers are harmed because not only are they being targeted and potentially manipulated every day by people working for companies across the planet, pretending to be a woman that they're attracted to, but they are also at risk of being subjected to AI persuasion programs, which are obviously working quite well, else the revenue figures wouldn't be changing the way that they have been changing. And all of it, over the span of just a few years, is metastasizing like a malignant cancer. It feels like we're speedrunning the fall of decent civilization, and I understand that a YouTube video titled OnlyFans is Destroying Society can be perceived as completely hyperbolic, all right? Or extreme, or indefensibly outlandish. But I genuinely believe that more than almost any other platform I've ever researched, except maybe TikTok, it really is doing damage. Early in the video, I said multiple separate social dimensions, whatever that means. And now, after detailing my argument fully, I would assert that those social dimensions are trust, privacy, stability, and honestly, dignity. I won't sit here and claim some sort of moral high ground on a personal level, don't worry. But if you look at the situation in context, especially considering how fast the platform is growing every day and the trajectories of revenue, where that revenue comes from, how many creators are truly benefiting, etc. If I look at everything in context, it's difficult for me to see this platform as anything other than evil. In the end, the downside risk of using OnlyFans as both a creator and subscriber seem to be dramatically outweighing any potential benefit, because the benefit is static. It doesn't change. Actually, the benefit is going down for creators, but the risk and potential negative ramifications are just consistently expanding with every passing day. As per the title of the video, OnlyFans is destroying Western society. That's it. If you want to support the video and projects like these, please do consider using Locals and Patreon for monthly memberships. Also a special VPN deal linked down below, big discount, merchandise, social media, etc., etc. But I'll cut it there and stop rambling. As always, thank you all for watching. Question everything. Thank you for putting up with my sick voice. It's yet to go away over the past few days, but yeah, that's it. Have a nice night.